agreement reached in Abuja is a coup against Governor Fubara, a lawyer says. Actually, but Fubara has accepted it. That's why we say the way things happen in Nigerian politics, the more you look, the less you see. Fubara must have read through and saw all the conditions, but decided to sign. And now coming to tell Nigerians and the people of Rivers State that there's no price that is too much to pay for peace to reign in Rivers State. He has succumbed already. So he has yielded to that coup. But again, let's see exactly what somebody is saying here. A constitutional lawyer and human rights advocate, Festus Oguche, has described the truce reached in Abuja as a coup d'etat against Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the people of the state. Nigeria News records that Tinubu met with Nyesom Wike and Fubara at the presidential villa on Monday to resolve the political crisis in Rivers State. At the end of the meeting, a truce was reached to resolve the political crisis in the state. Oguche, in his reaction to the meeting, said the document and the agreement reached were against any known law and the constitution of the nation. He further stated that it was treason for a governor to subject himself to another authority apart from the people who voted him in. He said, I have got a glimpse of the agreement and I think it is something that cannot fly. We are operating a constitutional system within a democratic system, and all the principles of democracy and constitutionalism must really or readily be applied. The governor of a state cannot be subservient to any other authority apart from the one given by the constitution and authority of the people. I wonder if the governor had the consent and authority of the people to endorse such a document. So if he did sign the document, it then raises fundamental constitutional questions that need to be addressed. The governor is only loyal to the people and not to any other authority. So if he consented to that, it means that the government of Rivers State is being taken over in a manner not contemplated by the Constitution. That pander to the fact of reason. Treasonable felony when you run any administration within the federal outside the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, except he has the mandate of the people. It is very unconstitutional if any implementation is made on that document. Oguche further said, it is unconstitutional, it is an illegal document and cannot be brought in any aspect of governance in Rivers State. There should be some understanding between politicians, but it is not what you put down in black and white as an instrument of governance. Do you call the document fundamental principle of state policies? Would you regard it as a charter of governance between the people and the governor? It is totally wrong. Constitutionally, you cannot make mockery of the Constitution that way. So it is democratic coup d'etat. What else do you call a coup? You cannot take over the state outside the contemplation of the Constitution. It has offended the provisions of the Constitution, the running of state affairs, oath of office, the institution of government, and others are contained in the Constitution. Then, where did Constitution provide that there should be agreement signed with another authority over the sharing of government offices privileges? It is completely a coup against the Rivers State government. This is a serious one. I think because normally any disagreement in governance should be handled by the judiciary. That is their job. The legislators will make the law that governs the state, and then the judiciary will interpret the law and implement it. So anything outside that, it means that they've gone outside the Constitution and outside the provisions of the law. But again, so I think to some point it makes sense anyway. If there's any agreement that is brokered between the any government parties, it can be between politicians and can be, how do I put it, gentleman agreement that should be oral and not documented and made public. If it's documented and made public, so is it an act to be signed into law, or what do you call that? Okay, this is the state government is not a labor union. If you are doing negotiation with a labor union or any other entity that is not part of government instrument, then you can sign an agreement and say, okay, this is an article of memorandum or an agreement or whatever you want to call it. But a federal body signing, a federal government signing an agreement with the state government, how do you call that? You can go to a meeting and agree on 8-point agenda, have it as a means of discussion, but not to be signed and presented to the public that we have agreed. That is a way of collecting that government from that guy. That is what this lawyer is trying to say. Well, to some point it makes sense. People will say because we want peace, therefore they should allow the agreement to be. But if you want peace, let the peace come in a constitutional manner. That is the key thing. Somebody saying if Tinubu is not careful with the situation in Rivers State, Wike will end democracy in Nigeria with his irresponsible behavior. 100% coup, no more, no less. Exactly. It is left for PDP to assert their conditional rights and protect their mandate in Rivers State. Not minding the rules, okay, the rules being pulled by the APC government. The Abuja meeting is a coup indeed, and we will not accept it. That cooked up statement by Wike, that is it. Fubara, shine your eyes. The guy is dull and therefore should not stand. Exactly. He was definitely compelled, since there is no trace of justice, uncompromising leaders in Nigeria since 2015. Normally, the referees of justice ought to raise their voices and stop this nonsense, but they won't, since their boss sees nothing wrong with everything happening. Governor Fubara don't know that President Tinubu has started an impeachment move against him. These majority lawmakers will later start an impeachment and they will succeed. Exactly. Even though they have asked him to stop, or they have asked them to stop the impeachment move, they will wake it up again sometime in the future under a different occasion, and then they will use that strongly without looking back. Governor Fubara, I assume, signed that truce under duress. Now that he's back from the den, he can run his state according to the constitution and the will of the Rivers people. No one should blame him for signing that document, considering the environment and atmosphere of that meeting. Tinubu and Wike must be dethroned. How are you going to do that? It was Tinubu's arrangement. Exactly. Bam. APC can't solve PDP's problem. That is it. Tinubu is an interesting party. How can an interesting party discern judgment when the APC is transferring PDP legislators to APC? Do you call that agreement? It's instructions. Tinubu is not the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If Nigeria allows President Tinubu to become the constitution, then Nigeria is finished. All constitutional problems can only be solved by the constitution, not by president, who in this case is an interested party. President's action has suspended the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria already in regard to Rivers State political challenges. It is a coup. Not be smart, but Fubara himself shouldn't have signed it. If you reach an agreement, you reach an agreement. Don't sign it. Fight to finish. You lose, you win, you win. The guy, there's something that's binding them that Fubara himself is not telling us. But all the same, at the right time, we will see what is making Fubara to appear so weak. Thank you for listening, and let's have your comment. It is coup that has happened in Abuja and not settlement.